Let's go now to the latest on Venezuela. Ousted President Nicolás Maduro is now in an American jail in New York after Maduro and his wife pleaded not guilty to federal narco-terrorism charges. They were captured during a raid on their safe house in Caracas over the weekend. It was a military operation greenlit by President Trump that we have learned took months of meticulous planning. Now President Trump is threatening more military attacks on Venezuela if the country's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, does not cooperate with the United States. The U.S. facing backlash from members of the United Nations Security Council, officials from American allies, including France, denouncing the attack. And now the UN Secretary General is questioning whether U.S. intervention in Venezuela violated international law. ABC News' Rena Roy is following the latest.
Growing concern around the world as President Trump threatens to exert control and American dominance in the Western Hemisphere after the capture of now ousted Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro.
We sort of got him a little by surprise, but it was brilliant tactically.
Trump saying the U.S. will run Venezuela, but it's unclear how that will happen.
This is how we get into endless wars. A one-day plan to get rid of Maduro, but no idea of what happens after.
Vice President Delcy Rodriguez sworn in as the interim president as Maduro and his wife sit behind bars in New York City after pleading not guilty to federal narco-terrorism charges. Meanwhile, Trump boasting of what he's labeled the Monroe Doctrine, after the Monroe Doctrine from the 1800s when President James Monroe warned against European colonization in the Americas. Trump suggesting next he could target Mexico, Cuba, and Colombia.
La defensa de nuestra soberanía.
Colombia's foreign minister saying its military is prepared to defend the country and its people should an aggression be made by the U.S. Trump says he's also eyeing Greenland, a territory of Denmark.
Den amerikanske præsident alvorlig.
The Danish prime minister saying Trump's threats should be taken seriously, and if the U.S. attacks another NATO country, quote, everything stops. The leaders of Denmark and Greenland now asking the U.S. State Department for a meeting in the near future.
Rena Roy with that report. Rena, thanks so much. Joining us now from Capitol Hill is Democratic California Congressman Pete Aguilar. Congressman, thanks so much for being here today. On the Senate floor today, we heard Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer say that his briefing with top administration officials last night, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, failed to answer key questions about Venezuela. We know that all lawmakers, sources tell us, will be briefed tomorrow, including you. What are your biggest unanswered questions at this point, Congressman?
What's the strategy? What's the end game? I think that all members of Congress want to know what the strategy that the administration has. Look, we all understand that Nicolás Maduro was an illegitimate leader and a dictator. I don't lose any sleep about him not being in power, but what I do lose sleep over is the potential for young service members to be in harm's way. The fact that the president didn't rule out boots on the ground in Venezuela, the fact that he continues to talk about this being about oil, not about narco trafficking. These are all questions that the administration has to answer, and they have to come to Congress and represent and understand that Congress is a co-equal branch of government here, and they're dangerously close to this edge, and they continue to go their own way, which is just deeply problematic, and I think the American people understand that.
Steps are you prepared to take to get some of those answers from the administration?
We'll see. Sometimes in these, larger classified settings, it's difficult to get them to answer questions. They do a very good job, as we've seen in prior classified sessions, of just filling up the time talking. And as Marco Rubio did in prior classified sessions, when it has been, reported that he, said that occupation was not what the administration was seeking. I mean, those things are not, helpful to the relationship that we have between the executive and the congressional branch here. But we're going to go and we want to hear what the administration has to say, hoping that they detail more concrete plans and a detailed strategy on what the path forward is.
What do you think or hope is the plan forward? I'm sure a lot of your constituents asking you that question, wondering, why did we do this? What is the plan here in the next few days, weeks, months, years?
I think what a lot of constituents are asking is, why is the president talking about investing in oil infrastructure when we have infrastructure here at home that needs help? Why are we going to send billions of dollars potentially to oil companies, multi-trillion-dollar entities, when we have needs here at home? I think that's what the American public wants to know, and that's what they're asking us as elected officials to be mindful of. So I think those are some of the big, variables, or the lack of the president ruling out boots on the ground and the resources that could be expended in this Venezuelan mission. The president hasn't detailed any of that, and as an appropriator, we're concerned about the resources that the DOD has already spent on these activities. We've been briefed in a classified session on those activities, and we're going to have to continue to get briefed on what those costs actually are.
The president even suggesting that the U.S. could reimburse those oil companies, Congressman.
Yeah, I mean, and that would take an act of Congress, and clearly that's not something that they're interested in seeking. So we don't know where this money would be coming from. This is, again, all part of the plan that the administration should have to come and detail. And for people like Marco Rubio, who have been, here in Congress, as a senator, he would not accept what the administration is saying right now is an adequate answer. The fact that he's peddling this now, these theories now, is just incredibly frustrating to a lot of us who respect the norms and the rule of law and how things have been done in the past here in Congress.
As you well know, there in Congress today marks 5 years since the January 6th attack on the Capitol. In a new website today, the White House is attempting to rewrite the history of what happened that day, putting the blame on Capitol police officers, blaming former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. You were there at the Capitol that day. Your reaction to this, Congressman?
I was there that day. I served on the January 6th Commission. My face is featured on that, website that I thought was, a fake website, honestly, when I saw it the first time. This is just another reason and another example of Donald Trump trying to whitewash what actually happened. We were there that day. We understand that, the thousands of people who came to the Capitol grounds here, many of them wishing harm on members of Congress, Democrats and Republicans, who got in the way of Donald Trump and who weren't listening to him. We understand that the president sat for 3 hours in the White House while the attack on the Capitol was going on. And those people came, and some of them testified again here this morning to members of Congress that they came at the request of President Trump. They knew that he wanted them here. And as a result, they received a pardon for that. So after years of prosecutorial work, those individuals, the first act that the president did when he assumed office last year was pardoning 1,500 violent individuals. Many of them were serving sentences in federal prisons as a result of their actions. And now many of them have gone on to reoffend, carrying on a litany of charges, from assaulting police officers to domestic abuse all around the country. These individuals are spread across virtually every state, reoffending, all because Donald Trump asked them to come to the Capitol. They did what he asked them to do, and he rewarded them.
Congressman Pete Aguilar, appreciate your time today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Elizabeth.